every team knows if they win this one, they get to go to the World Cup, and that's the most important thing aside from winning gold.
This one here offers a number of intriguing possibilities between these two fine teams from Argentina and Dominican Republic. Argentina may have had the better record in the round robin, but this is a team that may not have peaked yet.
And you're right, because we've seen them play 3 games so far and they're 2-1, but in their 2 victories, they didn't really play consistently throughout both games. Against Chile, they kind of went back and forth. They were sloppy in the second and third quarter. And then against Ecuador, a team that everyone expected them to really win by a lot, they struggled in the first half. They were down by 9 at one point until they were able to figure things out, especially beyond the 3-point line.
What have you seen from the games watching Argentina that they have struggled with, and then conversely, what did they do to turn things around?
I think it starts with turning the ball over. I think they were really sloppy in the first half. I think it takes them a while to get their groove. But once they start to protect the ball, play a little bit more efficient, play more disciplined, especially getting guys like Cafaro to pass the ball on the outside to guys like Giordano or Marcos who shoot the ball so well, I think that's really important for them, and that's really where their success starts.
For the Dominican Republic, they come in at 1-2, but really, a lot of people feel that this is a program that is on the rise. They've played a very good tournament so far.
And I think you're right when you say they played a good tournament, because even though they lost against USA and Puerto Rico, they played Puerto Rico really tough throughout that entire game. The score doesn't really dictate how they played. And against the USA, even though it was the first game, they played well in that first half before the States pulled away. But against Panama, they built some momentum, they played well, they got their best players involved, like Frank, like Quinones, and a guy like David Jones coming off the bench, he played well as well.
The centerpiece for Argentina, unquestionably the big center, Francisco Cafaro. How do you see the Dominican Republic trying to contain him and match up against him?
Well, Joel Soriano, he's their big man up front. I think he's going to have to play really well. We saw him against Panama, a guy like Lombardo who's undersized, kind of outplay Soriano at bits, so he has to play a lot better for the Dominican to win.
As we approach game time, we will pause for the national anthems of both teams. Teams now will shake hands as they traditionally do before the game and exchange some gifts. Dominican Republic, we talked about 1 and 2, losing 81-76. Or excuse me, defeating Panama 90-54, losing to Puerto Rico 108-94, and the USA 105-75. Even though we're talking about the USA, who scored a lot of points against a lot of teams, 108 against Puerto Rico shows that the Dominican Republic could have a defense that Argentina could exploit.
And I think Argentina has the players that could exploit the Dominicans' defense because they're big. The Dominican Republic, they have a lot of size, but I don't think they have a lot of guys that can protect the perimeter. In Argentina, they have guys that can shoot. They have Marcos and Giordano. They both played really well throughout this tournament, and if they can get their shot going in the Dominican, they start to fall into a hole. I don't know if they have the players that can really get them back in it.
Rusguero, Ratero, Farabello, Giordano, and Cafaro will start, and you noted there's been some interesting substitution patterns between Giordano and Marcos.
Well, for Marcos, he started games 1 and 3, and Giordano came off the bench. In games 1 and 3, Marcos really got it going, but in game 2, surprisingly, they benched Marcos, put him on the bench, maybe to provide a spark on the in their rotation. And then Giordano, when he did start, he played really well for them. So both guys are capable of scoring, and we'll see what happens today. Maybe both of them can going at the same time. It's going to be tough.
Frick, Rubel, Quinones, Bonilla, and Soriano will start for the Dominican Republic. You know, Argentina is one of the top teams. To take a look at the coach of Argentina, Maximiliano Enrique Seniorman. This is a team that's ranked 8th in FIBA. They're a good, solid team. They expect success in this tournament.
And I think both teams have high expectations. I think this is the game we mentioned. It's for a spot to qualify in the World Cup. The Dominican, they won the Central Basket Tournament last year. Argentina came in second, losing to Chile. So both of these teams have played well in their respective countries. Now an opportunity to play on the biggest stage if they win today.
How do you see the teams matching up in terms of style of play? In terms of, you know, Argentina, obviously, with the big man, Cafaro down low. Dominican Republic can fill the basket. Talk about the styles of both teams.
Well, I think for Argentina, they're going to try to get down low with Cafaro, and then maybe he'll try to kick it out to their guys on the wings, because we know that the Dominican, they're going to focus on Cafaro, which means a lot of help defense can come in, leaving a lot of guys open on the outside. For the Dominican, I think they have to attack underneath because they have guys that can maybe expose Cafaro, not because of the height, but just because they have multiple guys that are tall. A guy like Soriano and a guy like Frink, they're both big bodies that can get inside, and maybe it can get Cafaro a little bit tired on the defensive side, and it can affect him on the offensive side.
Chile and Puerto Rico, Canada and Panama, the United States and Ecuador also in quarterfinal action. It is arguably, despite the fact that everybody wants to see a champion crowned here on Saturday, the most important day of the tournament. The winners will qualify for the under-19s next year, and really, Joe, it takes the pressure off them. Not that they don't want to win the tournament, but to win today, they get that coveted spot, and maybe they can really then relax for the rest of the weekend and try and win a tournament.
And we know that everyone wants to make the World Cup. It's the most important thing for them. But like you mentioned, especially with teams like the USA and Canada that have played so well at such a high level in this tournament, it can almost seem daunting for every single team. But in this situation, I think both teams are confident that they can get a win today. And getting a win today, that would be huge to go back to your country knowing that you qualified for the World Cup.
Argentina is dressed in the dark blue uniforms with the Carolina blue, I would say, coloring. Dominican Republic in the white uniforms with the blue numbers and blue trim, and we're just about ready to go here. Argentina and the Dominican Republic. Argentina was 2-1 in the round robin. We're second in their group. Dominican Republic 1-2. They qualified third, and of course the teams cross over. And you noted something unique about how the groups were set up in terms of geographical locations in South American teams and Central American teams.
Yeah, it's, every South American team was in Group A, in Group B, and every Central American team was in Group A. So now there's no more familiarity with these teams. It's going to be a crossover. We'll see if. One thing also to note, it's a 12 o'clock start. It's obviously an early game. Maybe these players aren't used to playing this early, so we'll see if it takes them a little bit of time to get things going. But as we're just about to hit tip-off.
Soriano for the Dominican Republic. Cafaro for Argentina will tip it off And we're underway, the quarterfinals here in St. Catharines. And as the ball is tipped out of bounds, the first possession of the afternoon will go to Argentina. The point guard, Farabello, will play it back. And let's see what Argentina runs out of the half-court set. They cue it up for a baseline jumper for Giordano. That is good. Here's Rubel. Bonilla, right wing, looking up top. Soriano will give up the ball. Good ball movement by the Dominican Republic. 6 on the shot clock, spinning with the left hand, and up and no good. It was Frink. And the board cleared by Cafaro.
You can already see Cafaro's height becoming an advantage there. 2 bodies for the Dominican wasn't enough to stop that rebound.
Giordano, after getting the back screen from Cafaro, was challenged by Bonilla and fouled, and he'll get 2 shots from the line.
We saw Giordano get hot in game 2 for Argentina, already a basket, and now he's going to the line to get him going early for the Argentinians.
6 for 6 in free throws in preliminary play as he knocks down the first one. Clarification needed on the shot clock, which is showing 20 right now. "42 seconds into the first quarter of play, and now they've reset the shot clock for 24 at one end. Now it's back to 20, so there's definitely some clarification that's going to be needed. This is what neither team needed. You know, the energy is going, and then they get a break in the action 42 seconds in.
And I just mentioned that the fact that it is an early game where it might take you a little bit of time to get going. When you start getting these stoppages of play, you can start to get your feet a little rusty. You may even have to take you longer to get back into it.
42 seconds in, 3-0. Marco Giordano is on the foul line for Argentina. What have your impressions been? You've been here a lot, you've called a lot of games, about what this tournament has brought to this area in terms of prestige and all that kind of stuff.
Well, this is the first time that Canada is going to be hosting a FIBA tournament, and you can see that, especially when Canada comes in, you can see the energy. We mentioned Chile playing in the next game. We've seen a ton of fans come in. You can almost feel like basketball's growing in this country. Canada #2 ranked in the world, so there's obviously something to look forward to. It's obviously an exciting time for this country.
Shot clock has been sorted out. Giordano with his second foul shot, and he gets a friendly shooter's roll to make it 4-0. Rubel, Argentina setting up a little bit of a trap. Quinones is trapped in the corner, almost threw it away. Frink down low, and then out of bounds. So the pressure, Joe, by Argentina pays off.
And you can notice that the Dominican are trying to get inside, opposed to Argentina, who's taking a little bit more looks on the outside, taking jumpers by Giordano.
Dominican will set up a bit of a trap as well. Argentina able to get it over the timeline. Giordano, jab step off the Ratero screen, step to the basket, no good, and out of bounds as Giordano tried to grab that rebound. It goes back to the Dominican Republic.
And I think that was an important stop for the Dominican, because if you get Argentina coming out scoring 6 straight points, your confidence level is going to be low.
Lester Quinones, a 6'5" shooting guard. Handoff to Rubel. Already halfway through the shot clock. Rubel, Frink. Frink will cue up a 3-pointer. It's short. The rebound is tracked down by Farabello, and a big step to the basket, and the finish. Did Cafaro slam that one down? He certainly did on the putback. Argentina out to a 6-0 run. Quinones works off a screen, picks his way to the basket, and with the left hand, gets the Dominican Republic on the scoreboard.
And we mentioned that Argentina has such great scorers. Quinones, who has 9 offers for the NCAA next year, for him to get going, it could be huge for the Dominican to stretch the court.
Cafaro misses a jump hook. deep three-pointer is up, and it's good by Quinones. He showed some range.
And that's the guy that needs to get it going for the Dominican Republic, and now they're right back in this game.
Averaged 15.7 a game in the preliminaries. Quinones, 5 straight points. Cafaro at the top. Giordano pulls up just outside the foul line and answers with a jumper.
And you can tell that's his spot, that's his shot. He's already going for 3 jumpers around in the mid-range. He's made 2 and got fouled on the other.
Giordano, 44.4% shooter from the field in the preliminaries. And now here comes the full court pressure exuded by Argentina. Rubel will direct traffic. Bonilla. Soriano up top. They'll play off of him a little bit. 10 on the shot clock. Quinones off the Soriano screen. Strong to the hoop. No. Soriano challenges and gets the offensive rebound. No reset on the shot clock. Frink realizes it. His jumper is no good, and the rebound is going to be claimed by Argentina. Farabello got it to Rotero. Giordano. Strong to the basket. Count it. And the foul, and Giordano is feeling it in the early going.
If I'm not mistaken, he has around 8 of their 10 points right now. He's been playing really well, and we mentioned that him and Marcos have kind of interchanged in the starting lineup for Argentina. Right now, he's being aggressive. He's taking some nice shots, and they're getting into the paint, taking the contact, and now an opportunity at an and one.
Rebel picked up the foul. Giordano remains flawless from the line, completing the 3-point play, and Argentina back out to a 6-point lead. Quinones. Good challenge by Farabello. Quinones. Rebello. Frink shows, but they can't get him the ball. 8 on the shot clock. Dominican getting challenged right now. Soriano, shot clock violation against Argentina. And Dominican Republic looks a little out of rhythm, Joe.
And I think in a possession like that, you have to move the ball a little bit more. You could see Rubel not playing the best type of basketball. You should maybe get a lot of his more players involved. Once everyone starts touching the ball on one possession, it'll get everyone feeling it as David Jones subs in for the Dominican Republic. He hasn't played a lot of minutes, but he's played really well and really efficient when he's come onto the court.
Elian Torres also into the game. Farabello will kick it out. Cafaro. Ruska. Farabello off the Cafaro screen. Big block by Frink. And now the Dominican Republic want to run. Quinones, a 3 off the break is no good. And it's going to go out of bounds. Last touched by the Dominican Republic. Argentina ball.
And you love the hustle by Frink to get back and contest Cafaro on an easy shot. They were able to push it and get Quinones a shot that usually he makes. It just didn't go in for him there.
Farabello gets the ball back from Giordano. Farabello sees a seam to the basket. Left side, but he scores with the right hand. It's good for 2. 7-0 run by Argentina to counter the 5 straight points scored by Quinones. Rubel, Frink jab step. Big man puts the ball on the floor, drops the shoulder with a strong take and a finish. And
that's Frink's game. He needs to be aggressive, get into the paint, use his big body. He's not the tallest guy on the court, but he looks like the biggest one.
15.3 points a game in the preliminaries for Frink. Giordano, right elbow, leaning jumper, and he is on fire in the early going. Steal by Giordano, and he's got 2 more. And that will force the Dominican Republic into a timeout. It is the Marco Giordano show in the early going.
Giordano, we mentioned how good he can be, how great of a scorer he can be there off the steal after making another jump shot in that mid-range. And he's just been fantastic for Argentina.
So the Dominican Republic will call the timeout to talk things over. What is the message as they have gotten off to a slow start here this afternoon?
I think they need to be a little bit tougher on the defensive side, maybe put a body on Giordano, make sure that he has to earn it every single time he takes a shot.
Quick break in the action. We'll take one as well. You're watching FIBA U18 Americas from St. Catharines. Great start in the early going by Argentina. It is 17-7. Welcome back to the Meridian Center in St. Catharines. Steve Clark alongside Joe D'Agostino. And Argentina pretty well having their way, led by Marco Giordano.
Giordano 5 for 6 from the field with 13 points. He's the whole reason why Argentina's in the lead. We saw Quinones get a little hot at one point. We saw Frank start to get involved, but it's just been the Giordano show so far.
How about the Dominican Republic on offense? Argentina's played some good defense so far, too.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing up on them, and we mentioned that they have to play a little bit more disciplined, and I think that's what they're doing. Even though they're playing up, they're trying to trap. They're not fouling, and that's really important in a tournament like this where you only get 5 fouls and you're out.
Verplanken just checking into the game. He'll pick up his dribble. Quinones, ball on the floor, 8 on the shot clock for the Dominican Republic to work with. Quinones, they look to him to create a shot. It's Frink stepping out for 3, and it's no good. Farabello with the rebounds. Cafaro setting the screen. Dominican bench crying out for a travel that wasn't forthcoming. It is a 3-pointer from Giordano. The timeout has not slowed him down one bit.
This is incredible. We're watching him right now. He's shooting extremely efficient from the field, and it seems like every single time he takes a shot, it's a nice, beautiful arc going in every time.
And it's a 13-point lead as Frink tries to bank one, no good. This is the start Argentina craved with their inconsistent play at times in the tournament. Over the timeline, Giordano. You know he's feeling it. He's stepping to the basket. Dominican will converge on him. It goes out to Farabello. 10 on the shot clock. Farabello on the crossover. Inside it goes, and now they get the big man Cafaro involved, and he is fouled on his way to the basket.
And on that play, it felt like everyone got involved. Farabello touched to Giordano, and then eventually to Cafaro. A nice play to get your big man to the line. We know Giordano's been playing great, but it's also important to get other players involved and feel like they're making a presence on the court as well.
Verplanken picking up the foul. Cafaro with the physical game that he plays gets a lot of trips to the line, 15 of 26 in the preliminaries. And this is the first one there. 14-point lead now for Argentina.
And for the Dominican Republic, I think you just need to have a good possession here. Try to get the ball moving, get everyone involved, take a smart shot. I've seen on a couple possessions back-to-back, it seems like they're really only playing a 2-man game. I think everyone should touch it. Let everyone have an opportunity to try to get involved in this play.
Ball movement is quicker by the Dominican Republic. Verplanken. Jones, nice up fake, right baseline, weaved his way in off of Quinones' hands. It's a steal, and De La Fuente is away. He turns the ball over. Verplanken weaves his way to the basket, gets it to Frink, who finishes with a jam.
And maybe that'll get the Dominican going. A nice dunk, 4 points now for Frink. Him and Quinones are the only ones who have scored so far for the Dominican.
Good defense by the Dominican Republic. And, well, Giordano hit another one. Did they count the basket on that?
I think they
did.
They
did. Giordano is having a game for the ages, and we've only played 7:14 of the first quarter.
And that doesn't look like a really tough shot, but that's a tough shot to make with two guys kind of holding your arms, pushing it up. Great play by Giordano. He has been unreal so far.
18 first quarter points. Deep three-pointer is up and it's good. Quinones. Farabello picks up his dribble. Giordano working it in the corner. Three-pointers an air ball, and Cafaro grabbed the rebound. Are they going to give him shots on this one?
I think it's on the floor.
Team fouls are 5-0 in favor of the Dominican Republic, so Cafaro will go to the line regardless. And coaches, Joe, always notice that kind of stuff. Foul discrepancies, 5-0. Dominican Republic is going to put that one in the back pocket, I think.
And I think for the Dominican, they just need to stop jumping. It seems like they're really trying to go, they're exerting all their energy on every single pump fake, and they need to just play a little bit more disciplined, calm down, settle down on the defensive side.
Quinones was 41% from three-point land in the preliminaries, got a couple, and there's the first foul. The big man Cafaro had hedged out, and he'll foul Quinones.
And for Quinones, I know that Giordano has 19 points, which is unreal, but he's played really well so far. He's got 8 points, 3 or 4 shooting. And you know, in a tournament like this, so many people are watching, so there's a ton of expectations with great players like Quinones. I mentioned he has 9 offers. He needs to play well in games like this.
Quinones works off the Frink screen. He rolls to the basket, lost the ball though, but it finds its way. Jones, inside they go, and the shot is no good. Tip is good though, and there's an injured Argentinian player on the floor. Frink with the tip that's good, but the concern right now is the Argentinian player gripping his right knee. We don't have a number yet. Might be Farabello. 1:51 to go in the first quarter. Argentina 26, Dominican Republic 14. And you never like it, Joe, when you see a player grab their right knee like that.
And he took a really hard fall, and you can almost tell right away when he took that fall, he immediately grabbed that knee. And in a tournament like this where you're representing your country, it's obviously tough to see something like this.
Well, we have an injury timeout with 1:51 to go in the first quarter. Argentina up by 12. We'll take a break. You're watching FIBA U18 Americas Tournament from St. Catharines.
Now that's how to mop the floor quickly.
And welcome back inside the Meridian Center. Beautiful city of St. Catharines hosting the FIBA U18 Americas. The concern right now is for one of the Argentinian players who we're not 100% sure it is. It might be Francisco Farabello, but we won't 100% take that to the bank. He's rolling, writhing in pain, and you can see the stretcher out on the floor. He was gripping at one point his right knee, and the discomfort that he is feeling right now, and you know, it's a pause in the action. We had a pause in the action earlier, Joe, with a shot clock malfunction. This one here is a different kind of pause for the players because they can all relate to this, can't they?
And in a situation like this where you're up big, this is the last thing you want as a team, but just as a player, and you know that these players have a huge bond with each other. They played in different countries together, so when a guy goes down like this, it seems like it's a big deal. It's going to hurt your confidence. It's maybe something that maybe you can kind of rally around to play for him, but as you can see, he's going to be put on the stretcher now, getting a round of applause from the fans.
And it appears it's Farabello who will be taken for medical attention. Juan Ignacio Marcos will come in and replace him.
And for Farabello, he is such an important player for Argentina. I kind of almost have him as a utility player for him. He kind of does everything. He gets a ton of assists, he gets rebounds even though he's a smaller guy, and he also gets his points. So it's going to hurt Argentina for him not to be on the court, but hopefully he's okay. And if they win this game, maybe they could use him later on in the tournament.
Average 10.3 points a game, 6.7 assists, 5.3 rebounds in the preliminary part of the tournament to back up your point that he's a do-it-all sort of player. And now the players will change their focus back to the action on the court and what has been the Marco Giordano show. 19 points for Giordano.
And with Farabello out now, Marcos and Giordano are going to play at the same time. We haven't seen much of that in this tournament.
Strong drive by De La Fuente is no good, and Dominican wanted to push. Quinones, entry pass, Soriano turns and gets it inside. They played a little high-low, it almost looked like, and Frink got contacted. Soriano at 6'11", Frink at 6'9", an imposing tandem. Quinones, ball on the floor. Verplanken will pull up a jumper and it's no good. Rebound cleared by Ratero. Giordano, guarded by Quinones. Ratero will set a screen. Kick out, De La Fuente, open look for three is no good. David Jones lost it on the dribble, stolen away. Good play by Ratero. Floater from Giordano, and he continues his master. I'm running out of superlatives, Joe, to describe his game.
And now he has 21 points in one quarter. They have 28 points total.
Strong step by Verplanken. He just couldn't finish, though. Left it hanging on the rim. 6-second differential, shot clock and game clock. Giordano guarded by Quinones. They'll work it around. Kick out. Giordano for three. He finally has missed one. Cafaro cleans up the offensive rebound. Count it in the foul.
Right now, everything is going Argentina's way on this court. 30 points now, Cafaro and Giordano both getting involved, your two best players. This is the perfect start for Argentina, especially how we mentioned that they've kind of struggled early on in some of these preliminary rounds.
So Cafaro back to the line.
Again, just great extra effort by Cafaro there to get the and one. We mentioned Giordano missed. Even when he misses, something good happens for Argentina.
And Dallin will check in for Argentina for the last possession of the quarter. 6.8 seconds to go. Argentina full court press. It's in the hands of Quinones, back for Verplanken. He's gonna have to hustle to get one up. Frink, I don't think he got the shot up. It doesn't matter. He missed anyways. 1 quarter of play in the books. Argentina, Joe, with a big 31-14 lead.
And it's gonna be really tough for the Dominican to get things going because we mentioned they don't have the shooters that Argentina has. For Argentina, Giordano, he has 21 points total, but for the Dominican, I think Quinones is your guy that you have to kind of lean on now. And maybe a guy like Frink and Soriano, we saw a little two-man game from them. Maybe that's a way to get the Dominican going.
31-14, Argentina with a big 17-point lead. We're at the end of 1 quarter. Back with the second quarter after this from St. Catharines at the FIBA U18 Americas.
That's how them up the floor quickly.
Welcome back inside the Meridian Center. 1 quarter of play in the books. Argentina 31, Dominican Republic 14. Adjustments that the Dominican Republic can make in the second quarter, aside from hoping that Giordano slows down his frenetic pace a little bit.
I think maybe playing a little bit more full court press, trying to force Argentina to kind of rush to get over the court into the half court. Try not to let them get set into their plays. And on the offensive side for the Dominican Republic, I think you just need to start kind of going to your hot hands. Quinones and Frink, they both played really well. I think that maybe going to them frequently on the offensive side would help them a lot.
Quinones has 8 points, Frink 6 points. all the scoring for the Dominican Republic. For Argentina, Cafaro 8 points, Giordano 21 points, almost all of their scoring. 4 players doing all the scoring.
And on 2 teams that we kind of mentioned have a ton of players that can get involved, it's surprising that it's really being carried by 3 or 4 players. I think for the Dominican, I think what's most important is to try to get a little bit more ball movement, but still try to finish it with the guys who have the hot hand.
Dominican Republic will start off with a ball in the second quarter and a deep hole to climb out of. But lots of time left in this one. Varela, here's Frink. Entry pass, Soriano is stolen away. And Marcos with a step to the basket, pulls it back out. Argentina will work the half court now. Here's Marcos, ball on the floor, gets a Rotero screen. Entry pass inside, count the basket, and the foul. Great work off the ball by Rotero.
And for Rotero, if he starts getting going as well, it's going to be tough for the Dominican to get back into this game. They have to be a little bit more disciplined, though. You can't let opportunities like that where they're going to get free points at the line.
Rotero only played really 17 minutes total in the round robin, 1.7 points a game. He completes the 3-point play. And the lead is 20.
And I think one of the reasons he's playing so much more is because of the height that the Dominican have. He's one of their true centers, Rotero, and seeing him get involved early is good for him.
Quinones, Frink, steps to the basket, creates some contact and finishes. Giordano. Rotero sets the screen, De La Fuente picks his way towards the basket. Giordano up fake, step back, 3-pointer, no. Soriano with the clear. Quinones, Jones. Jones, step to the basket, creates some contact, left it hanging on the rim though. Dominican Republic getting good looks. Entry pass, beautiful work off the ball as Marcos will finish the beautiful feed from Giordano.
And Marcos, he's going to probably have to play a lot more minutes this game with Farabello out. And for him to start getting it going, we mentioned him and Giordano are a good kind of 1-2 punch coming off the bench.
Deep
they might have to play a lot together.
Sorry, Joe. A deep 3-pointer by Quinones is good. He continues to hold the hot hand for the Dominican Republic. Marcos for 3 is an air ball and will go out of bounds. Quinones, Joe has that great smooth stroke on his jumper, doesn't he?
He has one of the nicest shots in this tournament. We were seeing him shoot it in pregame, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Varela turns the ball over. De La Fuente 2-on-1 with Giordano. They're gonna call a block on the play. Stepping in to draw the contact was Carella. And Argentina will go back to the line.
And you can see De La Fuente taking a lot of contact. You can see he's still kind of feeling it. He's trying to walk it off as he's going to get 2 shots at the line.
De La Fuente averaged 8.7, Joe, in the preliminary, but he didn't shoot the ball well. 9 for 38 from the field, just under 24%.
It seems like he's a guy that gets really hot and cold. I know in the second game, he was on fire in the third quarter against Chile, but other than that, he's been kind of icy, but he does have confidence in his shot, and I think that's why he keeps shooting.
4 for 17 from 3-point land. Hits both foul shots. Rotero. Deep hole for the Dominican Republic to climb out of, but they've got a lot of scorers, and Quinones working hard to free himself up and was fouled by Giordano. .230 gone in the second quarter. Corella to inbound the ball. Soriano on the right block. Quinones up and under. What a beautiful move. Couldn't finish. Frink with the stick back.
And it's still just Quinones and Frink who's been scoring for the Dominican. They played this entire game so far. I don't think they can afford them taking a spot on the bench.
And Quinones, a lot of physical contact on that shot he took. Was a little bit shaken up, and he's good to go. Thumbs up to the bench. There's Antonio Bonilla. Irazuela will come into the game for Cafaro. More size for Argentina. Irazuela is 6'10". Marcos. Giordano, long three, and he's finally cooled off a little bit. Irazuela with the offensive rebound. Giordano gets a screen, works it inside, and Irazuela contacted.
I think one issue for the Dominican, we mentioned that they're kind of becoming, they're starting to get into foul trouble, and obviously it gives you opportunity to score 3 points, but in the later parts of this game, we're going to have to start worrying about players having to sit on the bench because they can't afford to be knocked out of the game because they've hit 5 fouls.
Soriano will take a breather. Quinones back into the game. Giordano, 5 on the shot clock. Irazuela throws it off of Jones, just 2 to work with for Argentina.
Argentina's gonna have to be creative on this play, only 2 seconds, but with a guy like Giordano who can shoot so quick and he has such a quick release, I don't think 2 seconds is too short of a time to make something good happen.
Irazuela, tough fadeaway for the big man's an air ball, and that's a shot clock violation. Probably not the option you wanted on the inbounds.
I don't think Irazuela was their first choice. I think they wanted to try to get it back to Marcos, who was the inbounder, but I think Irazuela thought he had a nice shot.
Quinones. 3-pointer, no. Good seal by Argentina. Giordano, they're going to get a moving screen on Irazuela and a turnover.
And for the Dominican, this is kind of your opportunity. A couple of misses by Argentina, now a turnover. Game's not over. It's a 17-point lead, but anything can happen. It's still early, and the Dominican, they have some big men that can get it going, especially with Quinones and Frink playing so well.
And the point that you were making as well about the inconsistency of Argentina, Dominican Republic taking a timeout on the floor. And they played a little bit more even up, the Dominican have, in the second quarter.
And I think one of the reasons why is because Giordano starting to get a little cold. He's not making every shot he's taking. And now for the Dominican, just like I mentioned, this is your opportunity. You said how Argentina hasn't really been playing a consistent game throughout this tournament so far. The Dominican have to make sure that they take advantage when Argentina starts to get a little bit cold.
Quick break in the action. We'll be back after this. You're watching FIBA U18 Americas basketball in St. Catharines. .6:15 to go in the second quarter. Argentina 38 and the Dominican Republic 21. Two-pronged offense for the Dominican Republic. They will need to get more people involved.
And I'm looking right now at the guys that are on the court right now. David Jones and Antonio Bonilla Jr., they both have played great in this tournament. Bonilla Jr., he was their leading scorer on Tuesday. So maybe get them a little bit more involved. But on the other side right now, Quinones and Frink, they're the hot hands. Maybe just start giving them the ball and letting them have an opportunity.
Here's Jones. Quinones gets the seismic shot. Wanted to go inside to Frink, batted around, right to Quinones. Look at the move by Quinones, no. Follow-up, no. And the rebound is going to be kept alive by Dominican Republic. And there's a jumper in the first points by somebody other than Frink or Quinones. It's put home by Bonilla. Inside they go, and Hirazuela off the Marcos feed.
That's a little too easy for Argentina. The Dominican had to make sure they get back in time and not let some of the Argentina's big men get too easy looks that close to the basket.
Quinones sweep through, 10 on the shot clock. Back in, tough move, he sealed off though. Frank lost it. And the steal, and coming back the other way, strong move, no, follow-up, no. Marcos or De La Fuente missed, and then the three-pointer is good. All right, De La Fuente. Back out to a 20-point lead, Carella. Frink on the block. Strong step count, the basket, and the foul for the big man.
And that was huge for the Dominican because it started to feel like Argentina was getting their groove after that turnover by Quinones. Frick didn't even look like he knew the ball was coming to him, so it was good for him not to give up, have his head down, get back on the offensive side, take some contact, and end the and one.
He is not a lanky 6'9" either. He's a physically imposing player.
He definitely looks like the biggest guy on the court. When you see him, he's only 6'9", especially when you have a guy like Cafaro who's 7 feet. But it looks like he's the most imposing player.
Travel by Argentina's Marcos, so the trap will force a turnover. Rebel will come back into the game. Jones will sit down. We know the Dominican Republic can score. They put up 90-plus points in 2 of their 3 games and 75 against the USA. The problem was they gave up 100 or more in a couple of games. Quinones, daylight to the basket, but he missed the shot. Ruska with the clear, Marcos kick out. Giordano misses. Rubel push up the floor. Bonilla for 3, and he left it short.
Both teams getting a little cold behind the three-point line.
Marcos, Giordano. Corner 3 is up, and it's no good. From De La Fuente, push up the floor. Rubel had the pass go behind him, and the Dominican Republic will turn the ball over.
We mentioned how the Dominican Republic had to take advantage when Argentina's not really making all of their shots, and on the last couple of possessions, a missed opportunity by Quinones inside, a missed 3, and now a turnover. They had to play a little bit better than that.
Marcos. Luska, three-pointer, no. Rebound emphatically cleared by Carella, and a pass inside to Quinones. They'll call a foul on the play. And that will go against Ruska. Fourth team foul. Maxi Signorman, the Argentinian coach, was less than thrilled with that call.
And he's been vocal all tournament long. He's always running up and down the court. He has high expectations for his players to play well on every possession.
He's actually on the court right now. He's spotted up for a three-pointer, as Frink will put it up, and they're going to call a double dribble. He got teed up, I believe, against Canada. Norman. 3:20 to go in the first half. 17-point Argentina lead. They've played very well. Jumper by De La Fuente is no good. Frink with a clear. Quinones, step, kick out. And Rubel felt the contact. And the foul will go against De La Fuente.
And this is an important 3 minutes for the Dominican Republic. It seems like Argentina has all the momentum, but you're still only down 17. If you can close in and make it 11, 12 at the end of the first half, you're still in it, and you might have some momentum going into the third.
Shot is up. Rubel makes the first foul shot. The lead was as high as 20 at 1 point, so the Dominican Republic have cut into that lead at least a little bit. Marcos. Here goes Zoela, kick out. Marcos, 10 on the shot clock. Three-pointer is a little bit too strong from Edelin. Quinones. Ratero. Strong move to the basket and the dish to Frink for the finish. Timeout, Argentina, as the Dominican Republic have cut it to 13, 43-30 is our score now.
And what's so important is they're starting to get other people involved. Corella, a nice dish on that play. Rubel made those 2 free throws. Badia made a shot earlier in the game. And then obviously Frink and Quinones, they've been leading the charge. Frink's got 15 points, and he's shooting 7 for 11 from the field.
7-0 run for the Dominican Republic. We're back after this, 2:38 to go in the second quarter. You're watching FIBA U18 Americas basketball. Back inside the Meridian Center, 2:38 to go, 43-30, Argentina with a 13-point lead. What do you like about Frink's game, aside from the, 18 points or whatever he scored today?
Well, I think what I like about him is that he's being aggressive. I know that he can shoot, especially from the outside, but he's not doing that. He's getting inside. He knows that he can use his body, and especially when you're facing a team that has a lot of height, you want to try to wear them down on the offensive side, so when they're on the other side of the court, they don't have a lot of energy.
Frink took 12 three-pointers in the round-robin portion of the tournament. So to back up your point, Joe, big man who can step out. Pressure from the Dominican Republic. Ball will get over the timeline. They're going to get an offensive foul against Edelin. They let him get away, Joe, I think, with the first one, but not the second clear out.
And I think for the Dominican, you're starting to kind of feel like the game is kind of in their hands now. And with 2:30 left in this quarter, there's a possibility that they can cut this down to single-digit lead.
Ball will be inbounded by Ratero and Corella, excuse me. Back out it goes for Corella. Here's Quinones. Single digits on the shot clock. Corella. Bonilla, right baseline, and then when he kicked it across, it was stolen away. Good defensive play made. And Marcos and Giordano. All sorts of contact as Giordano stepped to the basket. And foul was called. And it's an offensive foul that was called on the play.
I thought it was going to be 2 shots, but I guess they're going to call a charge.
And a warning given, it looks like. Might have been the unofficial warning to Argentina. So there you see the contact.
And that's a good call. He had his feet planted, obviously out of the restricted area.
Quinones. Handoff. Corella pulls it up and knocks it down. An 11-point lead, was a 20-point lead at one point. Giordano, Marcos throws it away, and it's a turnover.
And for Argentina, the biggest thing that's been a difference, Giordano, 21 points in that first quarter, 21 points still.
Finally cooling down. And Argentina hasn't found the secondary offenses consistently. Scramble for the ball. Frink is able to come up with it. Marcos almost with a steal. Three-pointer is good! And Corella has 5 straight points. Timeout, Argentina. All of a sudden, it's an 8-point game.
And you can just see it from the Dominicans bench. They're fired up. They feel like this is their game. And for Corella, he took a nasty fall yet on Tuesday. And it seemed like he was hurt. For him to come back, make 2 straight baskets. And look at this effort by 2 of your best players, Frank and Rubel, getting it, dishing it out to Corella, hitting the 3 in the corner. And this is a completely different ball game now.
1:07 to go in the second quarter. Argentina's lead slashed to 8 points. You're watching FIBA Under-18 Americas basketball from St. Catharines. 12-0 run for the Dominican Republic to cut a 20-point lead to an 8-point lead. Joe, what have you seen from the Dominican Republic to turn this around?
Well, we saw in the first quarter was literally only 2 players who scored. It was Frank and Quinones, but now we're seeing Rubel, Corella, Bonilla Jr., and it's surprising because they brought in other guys that were coming off the bench like David Jones, and he wasn't really producing much. He was your kind of top guy coming off the bench in your rotation, but it's been the other guys who have stepped up, and we have to give credit to Frank and Quinones, bringing a lot of energy on their team, not quitting, not hanging their heads down even though they're playing well and everyone else wasn't really playing as well as them. So it's good for the Dominican to get back into this game. And again, it's anybody's game now.
Corella had 5 points the whole round robin portion of the tournament. 5 points in the second quarter here alone. Marcos, under a minute to go in the first half. And Argentina needs a big possession. Giordano, kick out now. Marcos for 3, and that's a big answer for Marcos.
And Marcos, he was their top guy in games 1 and 3. As a turnover for the Dominican, and just like that, now it feels like Argentina's got control of this game.
Now the youth of basketball, they're elite talents, but they're still only under 18 years old, 16, 17, 18 years old. The game can turn.
And that's something I think a lot of people forget almost at times, is that these kids are just 16, 17, 18 years old. They still have so much time to grow, especially in terms of basketball IQ, making sure you're making the smart plays.
Marcos, nice acrobatic leap off the Giordano inbounds pass. Corella will guard Marcos. Giordano works off the Cafaro screen, pulls it up, and knocks it down, his first points of the quarter. And how about that quick swing? 5 straight points by Argentina. 13-point lead, 3-second differential, shot clock and game clock. It's in the hands of Quinones, now kicked out and stolen away. Argentina 4 seconds, 3 seconds, oh my. That's gonna be an offensive foul. Ruska just lost control of the ball. 1.3 seconds for Dominican to work with. Let's see what they can diagram here. It's gonna be Frink. Long force. Wasn't far off. And the first half is in the books. You would think Argentina would be thrilled, Joe, with a 13-point lead, but this was a first half of streaks and runs on both sides.
And for Argentina, the positive is that you're obviously up 13 points, and you kind of finished the quarter strong after the Dominican made that run. They scored 5 straight points. But if you are the Dominican Republic, you have to be happy. This game could have easily fallen away from you, but they're right back in it.
13-point lead, Argentina 48 and the Dominican Republic 35. You can see some of the statistics. Argentina shot the ball well, Joe very well from 2-point land, struggled from 3. Dominican Republic fairly consistent, and look at Argentina, 92% from the field.
And that's one of those stats that you're going to look at the end of the game that's going to be so important, especially if it starts to get a little bit closer. I like how right now you're looking at rebounds very even, assists very even. Both teams are kind of moving the ball the same kind of way, but turnovers is something that Dominican have to work on. 13 in that first half. They need to be better at being more disciplined on the offensive side.
48-35, Argentina is the score. We will take a break, and when we come back, we'll have an interview, and then we will have the second half of action as you take a look at the leaders on both teams. Back after this from St. Catharines at the Meridian Center, you're watching FIBA U18 Americas Basketball.
But Mass is there and he's denied by Justice.
Come on now.
Ball now into the hands of Hammond, feeds it into Benny with a two-handed hammer jam. Chile survived.
That's how them up the floor quickly.
This crowd is going to be loud here. They really get behind the team.
World Cup qualifiers were meant to bring basketball home to the home nations.
Vargas drives in and scores. The party's on. Now Brasino flies in.
Of Howdy A. Carter on the putback.
4-on-1, back to Grass. Roll! It goes in for the dunk. It's Scola. Scola. Wow. So in, and Samus Reyes flies in for the dunk. What a play that is! Great win for the Uruguayans.
Dream big.
Here at Aggie College, we specialize in dreams.
And with the right amount of determination,
You can achieve anything.
When opportunity rings, pick up an answer.
apply yourself.
This is your future.
Your passion.
Your life.
So what are you waiting for? Dream big and apply today.
Niagara, acres of vineyards, and the award-winning wines of the Niagara College Teaching Winery. Craft beer from the Niagara College Teaching Brewery. Fresh farm-to-table cuisine from Benchmark Restaurant. Savor Canada's most unique learning experience at the internationally renowned Canadian Food and Wine Institute at Niagara College.
Welcome back inside the Meridian Center in St. Catharines. FIBA Under-18 Americas Championship quarterfinal action. Halftime score, Argentina 48 and Dominican Republic 35. Steve Clark, Joe D'Agostino, courtside here in St. Catharines, and quite a tale written in the first half, wasn't it, Joe, as we have a look at some of the highlights here.
But we saw that Argentina got off fast, and it was all because of Marco Giordano. He had 23 points. He got Cafaro involved as well. He had 8 points for Argentina. It seemed like everything was going their way early on, but then eventually it was the Dominican Republic who capped off a 12-0 run before Argentina scored the final 4 in that second quarter to get themselves back into this game.
You can see Corella fired up. He had 5 straight points the second quarter, part of a big run, 12-0 run made by the Dominican Republic. As we take a look at some of the statistics, what sort of things stood out to you?
Well, I think both teams have shot well from the free throw line, but what's important is that Argentina's been getting there way more often, and they've been capitalizing, especially when they get aggressive inside and trying to draw contact. They're making the shots as well. As you can see, a ton of contact there. That's a tough shot to make, and then after those plays, they're converting those free throws, and it's just going to extend your lead more and more every time, and it's going to build your whole team some more confidence as you head into the final stretches of this game.
See Cafaro working hard on the interior. 7-footer always gets a lot of contact. Dominican Republic likes to distribute from their bench. David Jones, one of their top scorers, doesn't usually start, didn't have a great first half.
And it's surprising. He played 11 minutes, which is the most minutes he played in the first half of the 4 games he's played so far, and he has 0 points. The bench points total, only 5 for the Dominican compared to Argentina with 12. I know they picked it up a little bit at the end there. They got Bonilla Jr., Corella, Rubel. They all got involved near the end, but they're going to expect a lot more, and a lot more especially from Frank and Quinones.
Managing minutes will be something for Argentina to watch out for in the second half. They lose Francisco Farabello with an injury. That kind of shifts around the rotation a little bit for them.
And I think it shifts around a little bit the way they played, because he was able to get so many players involved. He was great with the pick and roll. Now Marcos is going to have to play a little bit more with Giordano, and that might be one of the reasons why Giordano got a little cold in that second quarter. He's not really used to playing with Marcos, but Marcos did make a couple big baskets near the end of the second. We'll see if they can kind of get things going again and extend their lead. For the Dominican, it's the complete opposite.
Well, one of the narratives that you had for Argentina, Joe, is that they have not played that consistent 40 minutes of basketball, and we did see that at times in the first quarter, that inconsistency. I think they'll need to really level things off and play a consistent half of basketball if they want to win this game.
Up 13, and they probably feel like they should be up 26, so expect them to come out swinging and try to extend the lead the way they wanted it to be at the end of the second quarter.
Argentina with possession as we start off the second half of play. Giordano held the hot hand. Here's Cafaro. Marcos, Giordano, halfway through the shot clock. Good ball movement by Argentina. Giordano steps, so there's going to be a foul called on his way to the basket. Crisp possession for Argentina, Joe, to start off the second half.
That's right, getting everybody involved, moving the ball, attacking inside, and drawing a foul. That's really the perfect way you can start this game.
And Giordano averaged 14.3 in the preliminaries, 23 in the first half, with 21 of those coming in the first quarter. He remains perfect from the foul line in the tournament.
And that's going to be so important in the final stretches of this game to make sure you're making your free throws, capitalizing on these opportunities that you know these are the easiest points you'll get.
50-35. 7-0 run for Argentina, spanning the end of the first half and into the second half. Three-pointer by Bonilla, no good. Soriano, offensive rebound in the reset. Rubel will pull it back out. Soriano, Quinones, it's hit shot with 3 on the shot clock. He jacks up a 3, it's no good. Cafaro couldn't control. Another offensive rebound for Soriano. 10 on the shot clock. Quinones, entry pass. Frink, he's going to work against Cafaro. Couple big bodies banging, and it's 2 points for Frink. And the foul.
Alonzo Frink, 17 points now, using his body. We've mentioned he's the strongest guy on the court. Another guy, Joel Soriano, 2 offensive rebounds to give them an opportunity to get to the line. Alonzo Frink, the best player for the Dominican Republic so far.
And he had a little something for Cafaro after he scored that basket, Joe.
And you can tell that he knows that he has a chip on his shoulder. Everyone's been talking about Cafaro and how well he's played. Alonzo Frink, he's had a great tournament as well.
Completes 3-point play. The cry from the Dominican bench is for defense. Marcos off the back screen set by Cafaro. 10 on the shot clock. Giordano with a nice catch. Back out it goes, and Marcos drills a 3-pointer.
And I love how Dominican was rushing to their man every time, but that was just great offense by Argentina, finding the open guy at the end, and that was Marcos.
Rubel, Frink, Soriano at the top. Ornia, Soriano, that's not where he likes to shoot it. Quinones behind the screen is short. Another offensive rebound for Soriano, his 3rd of the quarter. Rubel gets a screen but turned the ball over. Up ahead of the play, laying it up and in transition off the turnover. Rotero. Back out to a 17-point lead. Rubel will pick the ball up. Frink. Crossing it over, driving in, no. Challenge on the offensive rebound and missed. Marcos, as Argentina tries to create numbers in transition. Giordano keeps the break going, but then threw it away. Stolen by Quinones with a lane to the basket, and he dunks one home.
That's a big basket for the Dominican. It seemed like Argentina was getting a little bit too much on the offensive side. A nice steal and basket by Quinones.
Giordano back for Marcos. 10 on the shot clock. Rotero with the screen. Marcos for 3, no. Long rebound. Picked up by Rubel, kicks it out for Quinones, and they're going to call a foul on the floor.
I like how the Dominicans trying to push the pace a little bit when they get on the offensive side, try to take advantage of maybe a numbers game. And that was a good foul by Argentina because they clearly had an opportunity at a basket.
Marcos picked up the foul. 2:57 elapsed here in the 3rd quarter. Rubel on the inbounds. Quinones, guarded by Ruska. Quinones, floater in the lane is good, counted in the foul.
And one thing we mentioned before this 3rd quarter started is that the Dominican Republic, they just haven't been able to get to the free throw line. Here already 2 opportunities by Quinones and Frink at and 1 opportunities.
Quinones can score inside, he can score outside. Back to the 2-man show though in the 3rd quarter for the Dominican Republic.
And that might be what they need to get back in this game, but we saw in that 2nd quarter what really got them going was getting a lot more players involved.
There's De La Fuente. Cafaro on the block, doubled, fights his way through, can't make the shot. Soriano lost the rebound, but that's okay. It was deflected right to one of his own teammates. Frink running the floor beautifully, clears out space and will get 2 opportunities from the line.
The Dominican getting extremely aggressive, almost barely taking shots on the outside now. They know that they have some strength on the inside and they're using it, and now they're getting to the line.
Corella will come into the game. Frink with an opportunity. This is the first one. Was a 53% foul shooter in the preliminaries. Again, at 6'9", playing inside and out, he gets a lot of contact. Missed both foul shots though. Marcos. De La Fuente back for Marcos. His floater is no good. Rebound tracked down. And up the floor, Rubel beats everybody but can't make the shot. He was fed beautifully by Corella. Back up the other way. Big block by Frank. Follow-up. Oh, is good.
And for Dominican, those are 2 straight opportunities that they kind of missed on. 2 foul shots missed, then an opportunity for Rubel on the inside that he just couldn't hit, and then Argentina capitalizes.
It was De La Fuente who followed it up and scored. Quinones off the Frink screen. Soriano backing in. Puts the ball on the floor and then tried to get it to Rubel. Giordano knocked it out of bounds. 4 on the shot clock. Venezuela, the lanky 6'10" forward will come in for Cafaro. So certainly a lot of time for a catch and shoot for the Dominican. Quinones, his shot, 3-pointer. No. He was short on that attempt. It'll go to Argentina on the shot clock violation.
And down 15, this is not when you want to get cold if you're the Dominican. Quinones, obviously a tough shot, but a couple bad possessions for them. They need to maybe turn some defense into offense. We saw that with Quinones with the steal and basket earlier on in this third quarter.
Giordano, ball on the floor. Tough shot, and he made it over Frink.
Giordano, he was red hot in that first quarter, cooled down in the second. He's got 25 now, 10 for 15. He's been great for Argentina.
And you wonder if fatigue playing a role. It's thrown away, turnover. Marcos with the ball with Frink and Quinones carrying it for the Dominican Republic. Out for De La Fuente. Giordano will be patient with it. 17-point lead for his team from Argentina. Pulls up a 3-pointer, no good, and Quinones rips down the board. Quinones looking for options. Couldn't find one. Corella. Frink. Ball on the floor. Nice spin move by Frink. Feels the contact. Counted in the foul.
And that was something that the Dominican Republic desperately needed. It seemed like they were getting ice cold from the field, but it's been Alonzo Frink all day who's been getting the Dominican Republic back at it and keeping them going and making sure they're still staying in this game.
Frink, though, played a lot of minutes. He looks a little tired on the foul line.
One more.
Argentina's coach, Maxi Signorman, is, made the point in the first half, Joe, about coaches. They know foul discrepancies. He's not happy with 6 fouls against his team and only 1 for the Dominican Republic.
And it could become an issue because now the Dominican will be going to the line every single time that Argentina commits a foul.
Corella will pick up the foul. He's a little confused. Got his second foul. Argentina by 14. The lead has been as high as 20 and as low as 8 points at the end of the first half.
And Joel Soriano is going to head to the bench for the Dominican Republic. He gave them great minutes in this quarter, a ton of offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities for the Dominican.
Giordano at the line. Was that a technical foul that was called? It was. Regardless, Argentina possession back. Here's Giordano. Ratero. De La Fuente tried to get it to Giordano, and there's a foul. And now Maxi Signorman will be happier with the foul discrepancy. The last 2 have gone against Dominican.
And if you're the Dominican, you have to play a little bit smarter. We saw they were in foul trouble earlier on in this game. They were playing a lot better in this quarter, but you can't start committing careless fouls, especially when you're trying to get back in the game.
Marcos with the force inside, knocked away. 8 seconds on the shot clock for Argentina. De La Fuente will inbound the ball. Giordano spinning, driving, and that's the contact there, and it's Frink committing the foul, or was it Quinones? Frink on the foul. 2 fouls on Frink.
It's going to be and like you mentioned, it's going to be a second foul. We have to watch out with Frink because he's their best player, and if he starts to get into foul trouble, it's going to be hard for the Dominican to get back in this game.
4:10 to go. And Giordano has been, dare I say, almost automatic from the line.
Argentina in general have almost been automatic from the line. They've been shooting the ball really well. They've been taking advantage of these free opportunities.
Back up to a 17-point lead. Argentina's been able to answer every single Dominican Republic run. Quinones. Jones, he just can't find the range. He missed the shot. Marcos with the ball. Giordano. Venezuela, Marcos pull up, arcing three-pointer in and out. Quinones. Inside it goes to Jones, who gets 2 from the left baseline on the drive.
And maybe that'll get him going now. He was so important for them in the preliminary round. Maybe they'll need him big in that 4th quarter.
Pressure by Dominican Republic. It was broken by Argentina. Giordano steps to the basket, sealed off by Frink. And are they going to get a foul or out of bounds?
I think it's going to be a turnover on Argentina.
Oh, they called a foul away from the ball, it looks like. Technical foul on Team Argentina. Nope. Technical foul on Team Argentina. Was it Giordano or the coach?
I think it was on Giordano.
Yep. So Giordano with some magic words for the official. 62-48 after the free throw is converted. Dominican possession. Quinones pressured by De La Fuente. Quinones maintains the dribble. Oh, look at the feed inside for Frink, who scores 2.
And it's only a 12-point game. I mentioned how at the end of the second quarter, how important those final 3 minutes are. It's even more important for the Dominican in the 3rd.
Quick hands of Quinones knocked away that Venezuela pass. 14 on the shot clock for Argentina.
And even though they didn't get possession on the play, I like how there's active hands by the Dominican, making sure that Argentina has to make a perfect pass to get the ball to their man.
Ball is inbounded, and there's a foul called on the play. Jones fouled Edelin. And now both teams are in the penalty. The stripes have certainly been making themselves very apparent here in the 3rd quarter. Argentina continues to be outstanding from the line. Edelin, who missed the game against Chile, averaged 7 minutes a game in the 2 games he did play, knocks down both foul shots. Carella inside Quinones. Oh, what a move, but he left it hanging on the rim. And it looked like Quinones committed the foul on the rebounds.
And that's rough for the Dominican because now you're starting to get even more foul trouble. It's going to be 2 shots for Argentina. If Quinones makes that shot, it's going to be an energy booster for your team, especially how nice of a move that was. But now it's going to kind of go in the way of Argentina.
Julio Pascual will check into the game for Quinones. First action for Pascual. And a rare miss from the line from Venezuela. 6'10", he's only 17 years old. Gets the second one to go. Carella, guarded by Marcos. Pasquale, high screen. Carella went the other way. Jones, ball on the floor, forced it inside. Tip to Bonilla, back out for Carella, drives the baseline, lost it on the way up, picked the ball up again, and will turn the ball over.
And this is not the way you want to end this quarter if you're the Dominican. It feels like this is starting to become more and more of Argentina's game. I know that they play in kind of flurries. They haven't played a consistent game yet, but we've seen them get their groove, especially going into the fourth quarter in those wins against Chile and Ecuador. If they start getting it going now, it's gonna almost be too much for the Dominican.
Dominican Republic have been chasing the game throughout. Three-pointer from De La Fuente is no good. They've never led in this game. Up the floor, Bonilla cues up a three. It's an air ball. There was an opportunity in transition there. Venezuela on the block, out for Marcos. Marcos weaves his way in, puts it back out for De La Fuente. He won't shoot it. Good defense here. Forced three by Marcos. His short, long rebound is out of bounds to the Dominican Republic. Good half-court defense there by the Dominican Republic.
And maybe that can translate into some offense now.
Jones, only 2 points, averaging 14 in the tournament. Frink, he can shoot it from anywhere. Look at him spin in the lane, fouled again. And we'll go to the line for two.
It seems like every time he has contact, it looks like the ball's gonna go in because you just know how strong he is. And as much contact as he has, he always has an opportunity to bank it.
Four fouls on Rotero, who has had to deal with Frink amongst others inside. Frink not taking advantage of the opportunities at the foul line, though.
Seems like he's been making almost every shot on the court, but when he gets to the line, he just can't capitalize.
Second one is a much smoother stroke. Here comes pressure from the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic played good half-court basketball defensively last time. Marcos from the Venezuela screen, driving in, double team, threw the ball away. And Jones in the open floor. Three of them are coming. Jones, great step to the basket in the finish.
I love the fact that they had numbers. You knew Argentina knew that, but David Jones, he knew that he could just drive the basket on his own and he gets the basket.
De La Fuente will hand it off to Marcos. 8 on the shot clock. Out it goes, open three-pointer is good from Batista Lugarini, his first points of the afternoon, and what a time to get them. Dominican holding for the last shot. They've got some work to do. Jones for three, it's a bit strong. De La Fuente the rebound. Lugarini a three, and it's short. And 3 quarters of play in the books. Joe, it seems every time the Dominican threatened to make a run, Argentina is able to answer.
And that time it was an unexpected answer because it was from Bautista Lugarini. He hasn't played much in this tournament, but that was a huge shot for Argentina because I was about to say it feels like this game is closer than it actually is because Argentina had been dominating this entire game, but now it's back up to 15. The Dominican have a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do indeed in the fourth quarter of play. Argentina 68, Dominican Republic 53. Argentina able to maintain that lead. It was down as low as 8 late in the second quarter, up as high as 20. There you see the statistics Both teams, Joe, struggling to shoot the three.
Which is surprising because it felt like Argentina's game plan going into this would be to kick it to the outside and make those open shots from a guy like Giordano or Marcos, but it's from the other end. They're making their free throws, they're attacking inside. That's how they've gotten this lead.
19 for 21 from the foul line for Argentina. 68-53 after 3 quarters of play. Back with the fourth after this. You're watching FIBA Under-18 Americas basketball from St. Catharines.
Now that's how them up the floor quickly.
Both teams back on the floor, ready to go for the fourth quarter. 15-point Argentina lead, and the Dominican Republic is really going to have to go on a run, though. A lot can happen in 10 minutes of basketball.
We've seen crazier things happen in this tournament alone, and one thing that the Dominican are really struggling to do right now is get points off their bench. Only 9 points still. They're clearly relying on their starters, Alonso, Frink, and Quinones. I think they're going to have to be the driving force to get back in this game.
40 of their 53 points scored by Quinones and Frink. Here's Soriano, Quinones. Frink getting a little breather at the beginning of the fourth as Quinones starts off the Dominican Republic in good stead in the fourth with a three-pointer. $12 on the shot clock for Argentina to work with. Edelin on the floor. There's going to be a foul call. Looks like it's Jones.
And if you're the Dominican, you need to stay out of foul trouble in this quarter, because if you get in the bonus early, it's going to be almost impossible to get back in this game, because not only can you not foul, because obviously you can get into foul trouble, but they're going to be going to the line.
Third foul on Jones. 14 now as the shot clock will go down as per FIBA regulations. Edelin and called a foul away from the ball.
Coach.
Might have been Quinones. Ball is almost stolen away. It is stolen away. Soriano lost the ball on a great steal by Edelin, but he threw it to Quinones. Quinones for three. Good! And the lead is down to single digits.
That's 6 straight points for Quinones. We mentioned that him and Frink are going to have to be the guys, and right now Quinones is the guy.
Inside it goes, and fouled on the dunk was Cafaro.
And for the Dominican, they're extremely lucky that Cafaro didn't slam that one down despite the contact, because that would have taken the energy from them completely, especially after what we saw Quinones do on 2 straight possessions.
And Quinones has to go down for a breather as Cafaro misses the first foul shot.
And it's going to be interesting to see how they do without him. We see Soriano maybe should have made a pass there. Nice attempt at a save by Argentina, but Quinones has the hot hand. We'll see what they can do without him.
Both shots missed by Cafaro from the line. Jones from the Soriano screen will leave it for Pascual. Neither Frink or Quinones on the floor, so where are the shots going to come from? It's an offensive foul called. Away from the ball, 4 fouls. Joe for the Dominican Republic already.
But just like that, they put Frink right back in the game. They know they need him, but you're right, with 4 fouls already, not even 2 minutes into this quarter, they're going to have to play smart and disciplined defense. Giordano
clears out a little bit of space. steps to the basket. My goodness, they're going to call another foul. This one against Verplanken, and it's already bonus time for Argentina. 5th foul.
And with the Dominican getting back into this game now, this is the last thing you want to do. I don't want to say an unnecessary foul because he had a nice lane to the basket, but still, there has to be a time where you have to realize maybe let him have one so you don't put your team in the bonus.
And it's Giordano from the line. The last guy you want on the line if you're the Dominican Republic. Got them both. The lead back to double digits. It's 11. Verplanken. Frink on the block. Frink forces one, and he gets fouled this time. And Frink, who has made a living at the foul line, is headed back for 2 more shots.
But he hasn't made many of those shots, so this is a huge opportunity for him to make a couple shots, maybe get some rhythm at the line.
And a technical foul has been called against the Dominican bench, as it's getting a little bit heated here in St. Catharines.
And for the Dominican, that's just something that you can't do at this time. We've seen 5 fouls already, a lot of mental errors by them. There's an opportunity where maybe you have to understand where you are in this game. You have to be smart, especially with what you say.
And I don't think it was the head coach, Joe. I think it was the bench as a whole was really giving it to the officials. Head coach Victor Hansen has remained relatively composed. So now the officials are in discussion. Frink should get his shots at some point. Foul will go against Cafaro. And that's 4 on him. Joe, this is going to become a game of attrition right now.
And one more for him, he's gone, and we know that he can be an incredible closer for Argentina. He hasn't scored much in this game, but they'll definitely need him in the final stretch.
So Frink with his foul shots first, then they will shoot the technical. Frink 1 out of 2 from the line. All this happening, Joe, 1:49 into the 4th quarter of play. Hirazuela is ready to check into the game for Cafaro.
And I have to say, I'm really impressed with the way that the Dominican have really hung on into this game. It almost seemed like it was over multiple times in the 2nd and 3rd where it felt like the Dominican wasn't making any shots and Argentina was getting red hot. But they've kept themselves composed. Obviously, the technical is going to hurt them here. But it seems like if they can just settle down on defense, play a little bit more disciplined, this really is anybody's ball game. Only 11 points with 8 minutes left. That's not much.
So Giordano converts the technical. It's 71-60. Giordano with the ball. Lugarini with a screen. Lugarini, ball on the floor. De La Fuente, 10 on the shot clock. Giordano, kick out. Marcos, 3-pointer, no. Frink with the clear. Verplanken, he'll spin against the defense of Marcos. Frink, forced pass to Soriano. And Hirazuela with a steal. Into the capable hands of Giordano, Marco Giordano. Lugarini, another 3-pointer, bit too strong. Another rebound for Frink. Verplanken. Jones now. Spinning, creating, can't score though. Did everything right, and there's a loose ball foul.
And for Jones, he has to be kicking himself. That was a nice look for him. We've seen him make that shot multiple times in the group stage. It's just nothing's going for him right now.
Correction, it's a held ball. And
as you can see, a nice Nice look. Just doesn't get the roll he wants.
Held ball, so no foul, and the jump ball arrow was going Argentina's way. Marcos, guarded by Bonilla. Marcos, great step to the basket. What a move! And what a finish! Verplanken, Soriano. He's directing traffic. Here's Jones. Frink, ball on the floor, driving strong, and again he is going to the foul line for 2 shots.
It's a good response by the Dominican after a nice play by Marcos. Frink has been, like you said earlier, he's been making a living at the free throw line. He hasn't been perfect from there, but it's still good to see him get there.
Here's a look at the fine work by Marcos.
And for Marcos,
we'll look at that after this foul shot.
And for Marcos, one of those guys who we expected to play good or play well, especially after Fariballo took a hit earlier in the second quarter. He made an unbelievable move there to make sure that Argentina, when it felt like Dominican was starting to build some momentum, it kind of pushed it back on their side.
Game for the Dominican Republic right now on the broad shoulders of Alonzo Frink, and he gets both foul shots. 11-point lead for Argentina. Verplanken chasing Marcos. Dominican Republic already in the penalty. Giordano on the curl. 7 on the shot clock. Jones will chase now. Look at the move by Giordano, counted in the foul!
Marco Giordano, 30-plus points in this game. What a play by him. Double teamed at times. Wasn't even looking to pass. He knew he could do it. Getting the contact. Now an opportunity to complete the 3-point play.
3 fouls on Frink now, and the Dominican Republic can wait no longer. Quinones with his 4 fouls is back into the game. And Giordano is looking to complete the 3-point play. First miss of the tournament for Giordano, but the offensive rebound, and it goes back to Argentina. Venezuela, high screen for Marcos, chased by Frink on the switch. Giordano step to the basket, can't get it to go. Loose ball batted around, and it's to the Dominican Republic.
And for Giordano, you can tell he's not even thinking of passing the ball right now. He has the hot hand. He's had the hot hand all game, despite maybe a cold second quarter. He's been huge for Argentina.
Carella, all 5 of his points in the second quarter. Quinones. He got hot in the third, hit a couple of big threes. Pulls it back, gets it to Jones, step to the basket, up fake, bank, no. Rebound contested, it's going to go to Argentina.
And with the clock ticking, 13-point advantage for Argentina, the Dominican, it seems like the room for error is starting to become smaller and smaller every possession that this game continues on.
Marcos spun around Verplanken, who stayed right with him. Nice screen by Venezuela. Giordano. De La Fuente for 3, and it's good!
De La Fuente falling down as he makes that 3. He's fired up. Argentina's fired up. That could have been the play that closes this game out. The Dominican, not a lot of time left to get back in this game.
A big fist pump by the Argentinian coach Maxi Signorman, and here's why.
Look at De La Fuente making an opportunity to take a shot that they know that Argentina needed, and he hit it.
It's now a 16-point lead for Argentina. We'll take a quick break in the action. Be back after this. You're watching FIBA U18 Americas Basketball Championship from St. Catharines. Welcome back inside the Meridian Center. 5:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. Argentina 78, the Dominican Republic 62. Narrative of the game, Dominican Republic just can't make that sustained rush to really pressure Argentina.
And I think the biggest reason why is Argentina just has too many shooters that can make too many big shots. We mentioned earlier that Juan de la Fuente, he's a guy that can get hot at certain times in there. He hasn't made a ton of shots, but you can see he's pumped up. He knows that's a huge play for Argentina to almost maybe put this game away, but the Dominicans still have time left. They need a couple good possessions here. Still 5 minutes.
De La Fuente, we talked about his shooting struggles in the preliminaries, 23.7%, just 4 for 17 from three-point land. Has struggled here this afternoon, and that turnover off the inbounds pass, and it's going to go right back over to Argentina.
Literally the worst thing that could have happened for the Dominican is not even have an opportunity to run a play, and that's what happened there.
Giordano. Marcos will pull it back. Now he'll step to the basket. Pass inside, Argentina feeling it, but they can't make the shot work. Ratero missed it, and then another turnover. Marcos strong to the basket, layup in transition. 18-point lead now.
You can almost feel like that De La Fuente 3 almost kind of took the momentum completely out of the Dominicans' hands. Little sloppy play on both possessions.
Quinones, Frink on the block, knocked away, and it's a third straight turnover for the Dominican Republic.
And I think it just became a little too much for the Dominican to handle. We mentioned that it's going to be hard for them to get out of a hole because they just don't have a ton of shooters on the outside. Quinones is great, Alonso Frink is great, but it seemed like they needed a little bit more than just them two to get themselves back in this game.
Giordano off the Ratero high screen. On the curl, De La Fuente, no. Rebound is taken by Ratero and reset for Giordano, and now Marcos. 5 on the shot clock. Marcos spinning, his shot, spectacular move, and a better finish.
What a play by Marcos to get inside, almost a circus shot.
He has made a couple of highlight reel moves here in the fourth. Quinones, kick out. Long two by Verplanken's no good, and Bonilla couldn't control the rebounds. And it's starting to feel like Argentina is going to book their spot in the semifinal of this tournament. De La Fuente, entry pass, kick out. Trey, Marcos, cross. Three-pointer is good by De La Fuente, who has hit 2 big threes here in the fourth.
And all of Argentina know that that was the shot that's going to put this game away. What a beautiful play by Marcos to get the ball to De La Fuente in the corner.
And it's a 23-point lead now for Argentina. They are pulling away now in this one.
As you can see, Marcos, what a beautiful play. I have no words to describe Marcos right now. A great pass and a great finish on 2 possessions.
Now they say the way he spun that ball, he put it in with English, but we could say he put that one in with Argentinian, I believe. That was a wonderful play. Carella, strong to the basket with the left hand in the finish. And the Dominican Republic is going to play it out. They're still going full court, man-to-man. Giordano, the Ratero screen. Giordano challenging Frink, inside it goes, and 2 for Hirazuela.
And Giordano, who's been scoring all day, he figured, why not get a couple of my teammates involved on a beautiful pass.
And Marcos on the reach-in foul. It'll be a timeout called by the Dominican Republic. There was a chance for the Dominican Republic to make a push in the fourth corner. Argentina answered, and answered emphatically.
And I think one thing you mentioned, the Dominican, you said that they were still playing hard. When your country is across your chest, I think there's no other way you could play.
2:28 to go in the fourth. Back with a conclusion after this. You're watching FIBA U18 Americas Championship basketball from St. Catharines. Pretty happy bench in Argentina right now. 2:28 to go. They lead by 23 points. When they've needed a big shot, they've made it.
And I think Giordano's obviously leading the way with 35 points. De La Fuente, a couple of big shots in this fourth quarter. Argentina, we mentioned, they're 8th ranked in the world. There's high expectations on this team, as well as the Dominican. But for Argentina, it's good for them to get into the World Cup. They definitely earned it today.
49 of the 64 points by the Dominican Republic from Quiñones and Frink, but Quiñones got into foul trouble, and that hurt Dominican Republic, didn't it?
Especially when he made those 2 shots early in the fourth, and they were kind of forced to pull him out. They really needed him, and that's when Argentina made their really big run in this last quarter.
Dominican Republic basketball coming out of the timeout. A country known for producing outstanding baseball players, the Dominican Republic are starting to rise as a basketball nation. They've had a good tournament. Carella. Knocked away from Bonilla, fast hands by Marcos. Bonilla gets a screen. Pascual able to get it to Nunez as Dominican have sort of emptied the bench here. Azuela tried a bit of a fancy move, the big man. Got caught between a dunk and a layup, and he missed. Carella stepped to the basket. He's fouled on the play by Ratero, and 2 shots from the line are forthcoming.
The Dominican, they were the winners of the U17 Central Basket Tournament last year, so they obviously had high expectations. This is clearly disappointed. They wanted to win this game, especially because that means that they would qualify for the World Cup. They have played good basketball. There's a ton of talent on this team. It's just, unfortunately for them, they ran into a team that was hot at the right time.
Finished 3rd in the 2014 FIBA Under-18. Carella at the foul line. Future looks bright, though, for this Dominican team, ranked 23rd in FIBA. There's some talent being produced. We're inside 2 minutes to go. Venezuela helping to beat the press. Giordano, guarded by Quiñones. Giordano, he's killed the clock, lost the ball, and Argentina's coach was hot at something. He's still going right to the final buzzer. Shot is up and it's no good from Carella. De La Fuente crossing it over. Giordano can afford to be patient, 10 on the shot clock. Giordano, Venezuela, short from the baseline, way off. Quiñones guarded by Marcos. Quiñones, tough shot and he made it.
For Argentina, they're going to be facing the winner of either USA or Ecuador. They haven't faced either team. This is the way this bracket works. We have to wonder if they do face the US. Maybe we're looking a little too forward. They're going to have to play a complete game, something we didn't really see today.
Could say they probably played their best game of the tournament.
And probably against their stiffest competition, other than probably Canada. The Dominican, they're a good team. We saw the talent that they have. Guys like Quiñones and Frink, they can score. And Argentina clearly shows that they can score as well.
Giordano, shot lodged between the backboard and the rim, so it goes over to the Dominican Republic. Carella, Quinones. Fouled from behind by De La Fuente. Bonus situation, so Quinones to the line for 2 shots. The Dominican Republic will still have some basketball to play for the rest of the tournament. Part of the classification tournament to determine the final seedings.
And what's hard about that is obviously now that you can't qualify for the World Cup and you're not going to place in medals, it's hard to maybe sometimes try to find that motivation. We have to remember, like we said earlier, you're playing with your country's name across your jersey. There's always motivation to play well and represent as best you can.
No need for Argentina to shoot the ball. They will win by 17 points. And a happy Argentina team will celebrate here at the Meridian Center. They will move on to the semifinal against either the USA or Ecuador. And more importantly, will qualify next year for the World Cup at the under-19s. So, Argentina did control this game from the outset, though Dominican Republic made runs.
And it's really important to note how well Giordano played. But another thing, we didn't really see Cafaro a lot in that 4th quarter because of foul trouble. So now he's got a little bit extra rest. We know the next game is going to be extremely tough as they're celebrating on the court. Argentina, they played a good game of basketball. This is when you have to play your best basketball, when you know the competition's going to be at its toughest.
I wonder if teams take notice of the rather gregarious celebration by Argentina, but they're having fun. They're young men, and they've booked their way through to the final. You can see the final statistics: 24 turnovers for the Dominican Republic. Giordano, the star.
Giordano was the star. He's been the star for a couple of games now for Argentina. Obviously, we have to see what's going to happen with Farabello if he's okay, because he would be huge for them when they face whoever they face in the next round.
There's the final score. Argentina 87, Dominican Republic 70. They'll move on and face either the USA or Ecuador. I know this isn't going out on a limb, but I don't like Ecuador's chances against the USA. Stranger things have happened, though.
One thing, though, Ecuador has been really competitive in all their games, and I know it's the US, but we should see at least an effort by Ecuador to play as hard as they can today.
But that's part of the evening session. We're going to step away for a little bit of a break. Another quarterfinal coming up in 30 minutes' time. Costa Rica and Chile. For Joe D'Agostino, I'm Steve Clark. Back in a little bit, you're watching FIBA U18 Americas basketball from St. Catharines.
Now that's how to mop the floor quickly.
Very quickly, back inside the Meridian Center, there you see the final: Argentina 87, Dominican Republic 70. Let's check in and hear the words of one of the great players in the game today, Marco Giordano.
Marcos, it's been a pleasure to watch you play these past days. 35 points tonight, 60%. What did you see out there, and do you feel like your teammates feed off you when you score that much points and you're on fire?
Marcos, ha sido un placer verte jugar los últimos días. 30 puntos, 60% de efectividad. ¿Qué ves en la cancha y sientes que tus compañeros se alimentan de ti, de tu energía?
Creo que es un gran equipo, que jugamos muy sólidos. Y bueno, hoy me tocó a mí hacer los puntos, otra vez se le ha tocado a mis compañeros, pero esto es un equipo y funcionamos todos y cada uno tiene su rol para que cada uno dé lo mejor de lo suyo, y justo hoy me toca destacarme los puntos, pero creo que cada uno tiene su función y bueno, hoy me tocó a mí hacer la cantidad de puntos que hice.
It's been a wonderful experience. We played really solid basketball today. Everybody has their own role in the team. Today was my time to score the points, but again, it's a team effort. We all know what to do, and it's up between all of us. We got the result today.
Defensively, you guys are next level. Hands always in the passing lane. Do you guys pride yourself on being such a good defensive team and getting out in transition and getting easy buckets?
Defensivamente, ustedes son los mejores equipos. Siempre tienen las manos en la línea. Se identifican como un equipo defensivo y además en las transiciones para obtener los puntos fáciles.
Sí, creo que se basa a partir de la defensa para tener un buen ataque, para poder correr y hacer puntos fáciles. Creo que tenemos un objetivo que es dejarlo en 60 o menos puntos a los rivales para poder conseguir la victoria.
We base our game on the defense so we can transition to get easy buckets. Our objective every game is to try to leave the teams with 60 points or less so we can work our victory from there.
You guys are now qualified for the semifinals, but not only that, you guys have qualified for Worlds. What does that mean to you playing for Argentina? And going forward, what can we expect from you guys?
No solamente se clasificaron a las semifinales, pero ahora ya tuvieron la clasificación para la Copa del Mundo. ¿Qué significa para ustedes y qué podemos esperar del equipo de Argentina de ahora en adelante?
Es una satisfacción enorme clasificar al Mundial. Es el primer objetivo que teníamos y bueno, no nos conformamos con esto y vamos a ir por más.
It's a huge happiness to go to the World Cup. It was our first objective, but now we are not going to get complacent with this. We want to go for more, and we're going to go from there.
Thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the way.
35 points for Marco Giordano. He certainly was outstanding here this afternoon. Argentina books the first spot in the semifinal with an 87-7 victory over the Dominican Republic. Chile-Puerto Rico will be our second quarterfinal. We'll be back with that one in a few minutes' time. You're watching FIBA Under-18 Americas Championship from St. Catharines.